Wait, what the fuck? What the hell? Just in, President Trump is authorizing the military to occupy and take jurisdiction over public land along the southern border. Oh, okay. It's public land along the southern border. Trump says it will be phased implementation that begins with a limited sector of federal lands. Oh my God. He wants to mobilize the troops on the border? Is that what's going on? What's happening here? Is he just like is he planning a ground invasion of Mexico? What the fuck? What are we doing? Okay. This seems not great. Didn't he say he was going to strike the cartels? Yeah, he did. Streets are saying he will invoke the Insurrection Act this month. Wait, what? Yeah, he's going to do guys, it's fine. It's just a special military operation or Israeli style buffer zones. You know, America has security concerns.
The Trump administration in the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was mistakenly deported last month on one of the flights to a notorious prison in El Salvador. The court says steps must be taken to return him to the U.S., something the White House argues they don't have the jurisdiction to do. Scott McFarland has the story. Scott, good morning.
Dana, good morning. It was a unanimous decision that Kilmar Abrego Garcia must be returned. The Supreme Court didn't set a deadline, but they ruled the Trump administration must facilitate getting him out of that Salvadoran prison and back to the U.S.
Oh, the Insurrection Act is the fucking April 20th meme that's circulating online that Donald Trump is going to invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807 on 4/20/2025, followed by him declaring martial law. That's what you guys are saying, right? That's like, I think that's like the liberal QAnon, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's fucking insane, but seems a bit far-fetched. I heard that from someone who trusted TikTok psychics for election advice.
It's been nearly a month since Kilmar Abrego Garcia was plucked from a street in Maryland by federal agents, detained, arrested, and flown with more than 200 others to El Salvador. After pleas from his wife that he has no...
You never know, dude. Come on, dude. Okay. I have it on good authority from the TikToks that I watched that Donald Trump is actually going to nuke Ohio. He's crazy. He could do it. Do you understand why we can't operate with that kind of thinking? Like, we can't just simply say, like, well, he's crazy. He could do it. Like, I get it. He is crazy. But as far as I understand, it's just like the actual martial law rumor came from fucking Facebook. Or no, text originated from a March 21st article archive reported to be on the publishing platform medium.com. Like, let's look at this. This is Snopes being distributed on Yahoo News. Investigating rumor, Trump will declare martial law on April 20th after invoking Insurrection Act of 1807. You know? I can't do any. I can't do any commentary or criticism if my assessment is my assessment on Donald Trump revolves around, well, he's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, there's no analysis else to be made. He's crazy. Anything and everything is on the table. Nothing is off the table. He's crazy. Online users shared a rumor. Online users shared a rumor claiming U.S. President Donald Trump would invoke Insurrection Act of 1807 on April 20th, 2025, followed by him declaring martial law. The Insurrection Act grants U.S. President the power to deploy the military into states for civilian law enforcement. To share the rumor, users copied and pasted the text from the first archived in a series of articles written by Medium.com blogger only identified by the handle Aletheisthenes. The rumor partly pertained to a Trump executive order issued on January 20th declaring a national emergency at the southern U.S. border. Part of that order requested Trump to receive a joint report from the Secretaries of Defense and Homeland Security within 90 days, or by April 20th, advising whether to invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807. The order did not explicitly mention the words martial law. While Aletheisthenes, the author of a series of articles featured at length on a wealth of data about Trump's past actions, as well as the information about the Insurrection Act, this rumor existed more as a prediction than a provable claim. The DoD, Department of Homeland Security, and the White House did not yet respond to email requests for comment. A rumor that circulated online, where it is said that one reader emailed Snopes, I'm seeing many posts on Facebook that on April 20th, Trump will declare martial law. Another person referenced an executive order issued on January 20th, the first day of the Trump second term. This is it. I really wish there was a way to get this to the hands of every American before April 20th. From the Medium. Snopes is a fact checker. They aren't saying it's real. I know Snopes is a fact checker. Let's see what their fact check comes out to. Okay, they didn't even fact check this. Uh-oh. Even Snopes found a fact it can't check. Like, I think his invoking of martial law, or not martial law, but the Insurrection Act of 1807 is potentially to claim that fentanyl is a matter of national emergency, and therefore, logistically, in order to implement deportations, they have to utilize the military. There's not enough agents in ICE. I suspect that the reason why they're doing this is so that they can use the military for either invading Mexico, but operate on U.S. soil to deport people, which is still insane. I just don't think that they're following false flag operations at otherwise peaceful protests, arrests of journalists and politicians, military takeovers of major U.S. cities, press censorship, closed borders, and postponed elections. The author ended the article. If we don't act before April 20th, then by April 23rd, it will already be too late. If this happens, libs will be eating you. I mean, I'll be in prison, so I don't give a fuck if liberals will say, I told you so. Because I'll be in fucking prison at that point. You know? Oh man, I can't believe liberals will be annoying to me in prison after the American military comes to my house and arrests me for being a fucking political dissident. Anyway, I'm hearing from my source that there's WMDs in Tijuana. Yeah. Can I say hi to you if we're in the same camp? No. Yes, Medium is just a blog. Anyway. Anyway, yeah, he's authorizing the military to occupy and take jurisdiction over public land along the southern border. That's crazy stuff. All right, let's get back to this. Supreme Court says Trump administration must facilitate return of man mistakenly deported.
No gang ties.
Kilmar, if you can hear me, I'm still fighting for you.
And an admission from the Department of Justice that Abrego Garcia was deported by mistake.
The error that you are referring to was a clerical error. It was an administrative error.
The U.S. Supreme Court has intervened, upholding a lower court order that he be sent back to the U.S. Thursday night, the original judge handling the case, Judge Paula Zinnes of Maryland, ordered the Trump administration to facilitate the return of Abrego Garcia to the U.S. as soon as possible. The order gives the Department of Justice until 9:30 a.m. Friday to detail Abrego Garcia's location and the steps the U.S. has taken to bring him back. The development comes amid scathing criticism of the Trump administration for deporting 200-plus foreign nationals without any due process.
The Trump administration looks like more and more of a police state every day, and that's a country that none of us recognize.
Also developing overnight, the administration has moved to essentially cancel Social Security numbers for thousands of immigrants here on temporary legal status. The White House said it's a motivation to get them to self-deport, but that is a form of financial death, Adriana. Makes it almost impossible to do business with financial institutions.
All right, Scott, thank you.
For decades, President Trump is finally doing it.
Caroline, real quick, the president of El Salvador is coming to the White House on Monday. Does President Trump want him to bring Kilmar Abrego Garcia with him?
The Supreme Court made their ruling last night very clear that it's the administration's responsibility to facilitate the return, not to effectuate the return. I believe the...
Yep. Classic. Oh, they're doing it. Talked about this yesterday. There you have it. Oh, well, they're just saying facilitate. So, no, we're not bringing him back right now. That is so psychotic. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Yeah, we're facilitating. We're in the process of facilitation. You can't tell us what the timeline looks like. A lower court might, but then we'll kick the can back up to a higher court before we do that.
Department of Justice just filed another brief in the lower court. I would defer you to that for any updates. But as you mentioned, President Bukele will be here at the White House on Monday to talk about the cooperation that is at an all-time high. And we very much appreciate President Bukele and El Salvador's cooperation and the repatriation of El Salvadorian gang members who the previous administration...
We have an update on the case of the Maryland man wrongly deported to El Salvador. The administration admits it was a mistake to send this man, who is a lawful resident of the United States, married to a U.S. citizen, to El Salvador. Now a judge has decided the Trump administration is required, must provide, quote, daily updates on its efforts to return Kilmar Abrego Garcia to the United States after he was sent to El Salvador because of what the administration calls, quote, an administrative error and what a court called Kafkaesque mistake. An attorney for Abrego Garcia appeared in court this afternoon. Here's what Abrego Garcia's lawyer said outside court while calling on the White House to abide by the Supreme Court's order to return his client.
The government attorney did say that they intend to comply with the order and bring him back. That's the bare minimum. They should have done that already. They've had plenty of time between the Supreme Court's order early yesterday evening and now. He should be here in the United States. It's a 5-hour flight.
But he's not. Let's bring in our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas, in Greenbelt, Maryland. So, Pierre, you were there. Tell us what happened in court and what the judge's reaction to the government's position was.
Completely unhinged shit happening at every facet of government right now, but especially when it comes to this stuff.
Terry, I think the most notable thing about the hearing today was how frustrated the judge actually was. She had some basic questions for the government's attorney. Number one was, where is Mr. Abrego Garcia and what is his condition? And she was clearly flustered when the attorney for the government could not answer that question, Terry. He could not answer the question. She asked him another question about exactly what steps were being taken all these days after her initial order to bring Abrego Garcia back to the United States. The government's attorney did not have an answer for that. That is why the judge ended up in the position of taking the stand that every day until they get Mr. Abrego Garcia back to this country, she wants an update to answer the questions that she put before the government. She clearly has a sense that the government is not complying intentionally, and she's pushing them to give her the answers that she wants, Terry.
Yeah, to pretty basic questions. Where is he? What's his condition? Under whose authority is? Because, Pierre, obviously the Supreme Court said that order is good law. The Supreme Court, all 9 justices, upheld her order saying that this man must be returned to the United States, but the court can't tell the government how to do it. Do you get the sense that the Department of Justice is not openly defying this order, but is at least going to slow walk it and maybe not even do that much to accomplish it and obey it?
Well, the question of whether they're slow walking it is an open one. The government's attorney today, Drew Ensign, simply was saying that the government was trying to evaluate the Supreme Court's ruling. It took issue with part of the judge's interpretation of the Supreme Court ruling. The government attorney did say that they intended to comply with the Supreme Court order, but you raised a very critical question, Terry. How quickly will that take place? And again, I can't emphasize enough the level of frustration we saw from the judge when she asked that basic question. Where is Mr. Abrego Garcia, and under what condition is he being held?
Yeah, a federal judge, a lot of power there, and she's having trouble exercising it over the Trump administration. Pierre Thomas, thanks very much.
Let's jump the map now to Maryland, where video to our monitors shows the moment ICE agents smashed a car window and took a 51-year-old mother into custody. CBS News Baltimore's Tara Lynch.
Chances that Garcia's already dead. Please, can you stop? I don't like... Why does everybody do this? Shut the fuck up, okay? Stop. Stop saying that he's already dead, okay? What an insane thing to say. Please. God damn, dude.
Spoke to the woman.
I keep hearing like lib resistance accounts basically fucking post that over and over again without any evidence whatsoever. It's ridiculous.
Woman's daughter.
No! Oh, mommy! You wouldn't think that you and your mom are going to work and suddenly they're taking your mom for no reason.
On March 31st in Westminster, Karen Cruz Barrios says she and her mother, Elsie Barrios, were driving to work when law enforcement pulled up behind them. ICE agents approached the car, asked for IDs, and told Barrios to step out. That's when she asked for a search warrant. Elsie Barrios is currently seeking affirmative asylum after her attorney says she entered the United States in 2017 undocumented. Cruz Barrios says the agents did not give a warrant to her mother, so she refused to get out. That's when they broke the window and unlocked the car.
No! Oh, mommy! I would understand.
It's wild. Like, this is just totally illegal. I mean, not that any of this shit matters, but this is completely illegal. This is not a thing that you can't do any of this shit. And they're wearing masks. Makes me feel like they know what they're doing is illegal. You know? Gestapo.
Understand if they had a search warrant or anything for her, then okay, then you guys can take her out or give it to her and she can step out.
I'm pretty sure it's not illegal. It abso-fucking-lutely is. What are you talking about? That's your private property, your car. Just like your fucking house is your... They can't just do a warrantless search and seizure like this. What are you talking about? Yeah, those guys are. The only difference in this circumstance, the only problem here is that there are constitution-free zones, technically, anywhere within 100 miles of a port of entry, an airport, a beach, waterways, is technically considered constitution-free zones, and therefore, although this is a warrantless search and seizure being enforced on a person who literally has a court date, ICE is allowed to operate without any sort of constitutional limitations. They did, though. Illegal immigrants don't have rights. Yes, they do, you fucking idiot. Of course they do. Everyone has rights. Undocumented and documented citizens and non-citizens alike have rights. The same rights that you do. The same rights that your shit stain of an existence has on U.S. soil, they also have. It's in the fucking Constitution. You don't even know what this person's status is either, and they didn't either at that point. They just fucking went in. They're like, oh, well, brown person. We can just fucking break your car window and nab you. Good thing we don't have any fucking due process anymore. Maybe they'll do that to you too, Grand Goober 444. That was a joke, buddy? Okay, dude. Fucking take a week off. Not that legality matters. Clearly, it's not like legality has stopped any of these fucking assholes from behaving this way. Just straightforward Nazi shit, dude. Ay, ay, ay. I don't know. All right, let's